Hi everyone, welcome to Deadline Dilemmas. Two huge game weeks upon us, game week 23 and double game week 24. So hopefully Pras and I can help you with your deadline dilemmas. Pras, how you doing, my friend?
I'm all right. See, you've said press already 2 times in the first 10 seconds. I'm
All right.
joking. I'm joking. um, no, deadline dilemmas is back near the deadline this time. People got freaked out last time when we were doing deadline dilemmas on a Thursday when the
Oh
deadline was
yes.
Tuesday, I think.
Yeah.
So we are back and double game week season is nearly here.
Yes, I'm super excited. Having said that, just a quick debrief of last week. How was your game week 22?
We generally don't discuss it. Did you have a great week? Is this why
No,
you want to discuss
it's a
it?
hideous week. I was trying
Oh,
to
okay.
line you up. I crossed it in for you for a diving header because I think
Oh, I
you
had like
always do good.
Dude, 55 points. It was okay. Like it was
Yeah.
I think in context of the week, it was a good week because the big guys all blanked, right? So if you had like if you had a low owned Bruno, or if you captained Chris Wood, or you had a Trent or a Robinson, I think then you did well. And I had all of those.
I had
Well, not
44
Captain Wood.
points. Oh yeah, I wish I had captained Wood, but I was actually brave, or stupid or brave, however you want to take it. I didn't captain Salah, so when he blanked against Brentford, I thought, oh, hello, I'm in
Yeah.
here. I captained Palmer, and I still came out worse off. You can't go against the king,
Dude, he was
honestly.
not right in the game. I watched it very closely.
Yeah,
There's something
yeah,
not right. And it's one of the, like, I don't want to say told you so kind of thing. Like it's one of the lessons when we go against the crowd on a yellow flagged player, there can be a lot that can go wrong. Like he can either get a cameo. Let's say you were of the opinion that he won't get a cameo. He'll either
yeah,
start or won't be in the squad. Okay, I believe that. It's same thing
yeah.
happened to Enzo or Colwell.
Mhm.
But then there's also other things that can happen. Like if you remember in the first half, he got another tackle and then he was again limping. And I was like, oh, is he going to come off? So there's a risk of recurrence.
Yep.
And then there's a risk of an early sub, or there's this risk of they just don't look right because they've been rushed in. So of course it could have turned out differently, the result could have turned out differently, but it was actually a risk which I didn't feel was worth taking.
I mean, in your position, definitely not for you to take that risk. For
Oh, I was
me,
captaining Palmer anyway, like I was there
he was
without a yellow
actually,
flag. So it's not
yeah.
about EO or anything, to be honest.
I mean, for me, I did say to you before, any opportunity to try, not silliness, like we've discussed this week's captaincy later on, but if there is an opportunity, I will go for it. And I thought actually I was on a winner here because I thought even if I get 70% Palmer out there against this Wolves team, surely one attack in return, which would have been a result, to be honest. But yeah, it wasn't to be. It wasn't to be at all. Which takes us on nicely to my team for this upcoming game week 23. So I've got 3 transfers. I used the 2 last week in the end.
What did you do?
By the way, so I bought in Chris Wood, who delivered. That was a nice transfer. So I went against your recommendation. I went against your favorite. Pedro's gone. I kept Jimenez. I know. I went Jimenez blanked. I was watching the next day. I was thinking, I could only see your face thinking, I see, I told you
And
so.
Pedro scored. It was just that silly. I mean, I'm glad I was against Man United, but as an FPL
I
owner,
know.
I would have been a bit pissed off because that's nothing to do with João Pedro.
Yeah, yeah. And can you imagine me thinking I could hear it? I could already hear your voice. I was sitting there thinking, oh no, he's only gone and scored, hasn't he? But anyway.
I'm not angry. I'm disappointed. I would have basically come back and told you.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And the other transfer was a bit of planning. So basically, Timber went, the double
Mm-hmm.
Arsenal
Mm-hmm.
defense is finally gone. And I bought in Mekalenko. Remember, me
Yep.
and you had a little discussion regarding Everton and you was like, do some research on defense. I think it's turned out okay. I'd done it before, obviously, the Spurs game, and they played a back 5, and he was, well, I was about to call it pretty attacking, but good enough for an Everton defender.
Yeah.
Excuse me.
4.3. He's great. Yeah.
Exactly that. So I was quite happy with that. So that's the 2 moves, but yet this week I've still got 3 transfers and 0.8 in the bank. So the team currently is Sales, Trent, Gabriel, and Hall. I've got a midfield 4 of Salah, Palmer, Mbumo, and Gordon. And it's a front 3 with Raul Jimenez against your boys and Chris Wood and Isaac. The bench, as you can see, my graphics from the new format, I'm sure you've seen it, they've updated it, is the new format. I think they're preparing for assistant manager.
The shit bench. Yeah.
Yeah. But so Fabianski on the bench, Saar, who's one of the dilemmas I'm going to need to discuss with you today, and Mikalenko second bench, and Greaves third bench. So that's the team for this week. What's your initial thoughts?
I mean, I think everybody has Liverpool fever. this week. So I think I come back to you on what is your Liverpool fever? Like they are playing Ipswich this week. Um, I think you have money to go. Well, you're not going to do Wood to Gakpo. You just got Wood last week, although it's possible.
It's possible.
Uh,
It's-
you could go Sells to Allison if you wanted. So those are options to do this week. But I question to you, what should you do? Do you want to do it or not?
So I'm actually stuck because it's an excellent entry point because I know game week 24 is going to arrive, and we might talk a little bit about 24 as well. But every decision this week has to be with 24 in mind. And Ipswich is a lovely fixture. You saw them concede quite a lot of goals against City. So if you are going to go Liverpool, part of me is thinking, should I go? Now it's the options. I've got Trent and Salah, which are my two favorite options. It's easier for me to go defensively, like you said, Alisson or Konate or Van Dijk. They're pretty straightforward to get to. But up front is the tricky one. So Gakpo is the safest, I think, for minutes.
Yeah.
As Jota got injured, if Jota was fit, I think Jota and Nunes compete for that number 9 position. And then Diaz would have got put back onto the left to compete with Gakpo. Now that's not happened. I think Gakpo goes back and competes in the middle with Nunes, and then Diaz, if that makes sense. And Gakpo keeps the left position. So Gakpo's minutes for me have even gone up. So he's the safest bet. But like you said, the easy move for me would be Chris Wood to go there, which isn't end of the world. I mean, value-wise, I've got 0.1. I just bought him in. It seems not great because the way he's returning and he just signed a new contract, but he's got Bournemouth, which is on last week's display. That seems a pretty hideous fixture. So to answer your question, I'm actually not sure where to go. It's possible I actually leave it to next week and hope for more information, albeit you miss out on Ipswich. So I'm really, really confused. That's the honest truth. I'm not quite sure. I don't think I'll get another defensive one. I think it'd be another attacker. That's what I was thinking.
If I was to say you have to do something this week for sure,
Yeah.
then I would say do Sells to Allison because there's upside there, right? Sells away to Bournemouth. I don't know how he does, which is a much harder fixture. Liverpool are the highest clean sheet odds this week. It depends on whether you're feeling it or not in terms of wanting to do something. Like my perspective of not moving this week is basically there's two reasons. Reason number one is you may get, it's a small possibility, but you may get a double announcement for game week 25. Right? There's a chance we've talked about in the past that Spurs could get a double, and tonight in the Europa League they won, so it's likely they're going to finish in the top 8. So the chances have only gone slightly higher for Spurs to get a double. We are still talking 10-11%, right? But it's a chance. Then the other thing is there's this storm going around, which is basically again affecting Liverpool. Of course, north of England is the one that gets affected. And so this Ipswich game is not a guarantee that it goes ahead. Now, you could wait till Saturday, of course. You could wait till Saturday and then you'll get a much better idea of whether it's happening or not. But my point is that if there is a postponement, then again, where will it fit? Game week 25, because Liverpool have now confirmed the fact that they are finishing top 8 by winning last night. So they could have a double-double. If they have a double-double, then you definitely want Arne Slot.
Yeah.
So all I'm trying to say is I'm not scaremongering people who have 3 Liverpool. You're fine because we're talking 10% odds. I'm talking to the people who have a reasonably good team this week, who don't need to do anything this week. They're just getting a little bit of Ipswich FOMO, which, Chris Wood could do okay against Bournemouth. He could score, he could blank. Gakpo could score, he could also blank.
Yeah.
So it's not like you have to commit and sell a Chris Wood. Like next week, maybe in 2 moves, it's better to move Raul up to Gakpo if you wanted to do that. Let's say there's an injury to, let me use a random player like Gordon. So you would rather do Gordon to someone else and then Raul Jimenez up to Gakpo. So the value of waiting, I guess, what I'm trying to say is high, and so people should just, if you can afford it, just wait.
These are all the thoughts that's going through my mind, and I think the point you mentioned there. Let's have a quick look at to see if our goal scorers are here. Let's see if Chris Wood. He's not even.
It's in the long form. You remember
he's in the long.
Yeah.
Well, even if we look at this, just to see, Nottingham Forest are predicted 1.23, and Liverpool predicted to feast against Ipswich. The difference being here is when Nottingham Forest score, Chris Wood's normally like 40% ratio. He's the return, where Gakpo's much lower. Salah's like obviously the
Absolutely.
highest. So I suppose
Not
we have
on
to break
pens
that
and
down.
things like that.
Exactly
So
that.
Gakpo is definitely higher.
Yeah.
But then the question is, if you're losing Chris Wood, you're not getting Chris Wood. Like then that's gone. That
Yeah.
ship has sailed. I think there's one other thing I wanted to say between defense and attack. Right? With attack with Gakpo, you will probably need to move him out. Like, there is a point. Like people have done it with Jota. People have done it with Diaz. People have even done it with Darwin at some point, where people say, okay, I'm going to chase the short-term upside for maybe a transfer out later, which is fine. What I'm trying to say is if you go for a more sensible, more maybe not sensible, but maybe a more boring double defense, you
Yeah.
don't need to move that person out for a very long time. Like you could
Yeah.
have an Allison, and then Allison could be your keeper for a very long time. Liverpool will have another double in game week
Yeah.
33. Now you could obviously wildcard before 33, so it's not an issue. But maybe you don't. Maybe the FA Cup results fall in a way in which wildcard 35 is more
Yeah.
applicable. So like I just want to get a long-term Liverpool guy and not worry about it. And I also want to get access to the Wolves at home game, which again, if Gakpo starts Everton away, what's the guarantee he starts again Wolves away? Because those are short turnaround.
Yeah. Quick turnarounds. Yeah. He could play
He could
35,
play
40 in that
Darwin
game. Yeah.
Darwin and Diaz. So I'm not scaremongering. These are thoughts in my mind, so I have to share. Like I'm a paranoid guy when I pick minutes risk players. And then there's this really juicy Southampton at home fixture. Again, I want to have triple Liverpool for that. So I
Yeah.
want to have a player that I know for sure will start. So for me, my top three Liverpool, if I was on a free hit, a lot of people say if you're on a free hit, you will definitely pick Salah, you'll definitely pick Trent, and maybe Gakpo as your third. Maybe, but I don't think Van Dijk is far away. Like I
Yeah.
think Van Dijk is perfectly fine as a third best pick.
Yeah. I agree.
Then I think in the next tier you have, Allison and Konates, because the chances of clean sheet odds, I get it, in the double are not so high. But I think they're all fine picks. It's not like you're going to miss out on 30 points if you went for Allison instead of Gakpo, is my point.
No, but it's the potential of the Liverpool. We know of goalkeepers, it's almost not boring pick, but if you do well, you get a clean sheet. With Gakpo, it's possible a goal and an assist. It's definitely possible. In Liverpool, such an attacking team, they've proven it this season. Even against Brentford, you saw in the last minute, tough game. They brought 37 shots. It was a record breaking since Opta started recording the stats in the Premier League for away team. So the chances and you could be involved in a game where it's a 3-4-5 goal, and if you've got Gakpo, you'd like to think you're in. I think that's what you're chasing realistically here. But I agree with what you're saying. You're offsetting it with the randomness of the minutes. If Nunes plays, Diaz could play on the left. So
That's the Liverpool dream, man. That's the Liverpool attacker dream. That the one that
yeah,
you just highlighted.
yeah.
But the alternative is that he does all right. He gets one return in the double
Yeah.
game week, but then you keep hold of him, and then he plays Wolves but misses Man City or misses Southampton, and then you're panicking. You want to change him. You're using up a transfer. That's also a scenario.
100%, without a doubt. I don't think he's a long-term pick. If I'm totally honest with you, and you're saying that I should be thinking about it for the other doubles as well.
You could
And if
be.
that,
I'm not saying
yeah,
should. I'm saying could.
I wasn't at first. If I'm
Yeah.
honest with you, I was thinking the Ipswich and attack the double game week 24 immediately. But you're saying if you include the other doubles or a bit more long term, I agree with you. Then Van Dijk or Allison, long as they stay fit, of course, the caveat. But they are better picks because it's less headache for you.
Yeah. And
In a
Konate
period
is
where
a
we
little
want
bit of a worry. Konate, because there's this quotes of him taking injections
Yeah.
and things like that.
I
Like
saw
if he
that press
breaks down
conference.
again,
Yeah, I think he'll be
then
fine.
he
I
should be
think
fine.
Yeah, he'll be managed in the cup games. I think his partnership with Van Dijk, the drop off is too high when he doesn't play, and Liverpool almost, dare I say it, very close to a Premier League title. I don't think Slot will muck around there. That's how I see it at the moment, especially with Champions League. It's comfortable now, so I think he plays the Premier League games. But it's true. When I heard that, I did have to think, oh God, we need him to stay fit.
Yeah.
So yeah, I still think he's fine. If you've already gone with Konate or you're considering him, I think you should be okay.
Yeah, he should be. I think the way the doubles have landed for the double itself and for Ipswich, I think they're fine. Because I think, again, the likes of Konate, I think even Salah, Trent, Gakpo, all rest next midweek because Liverpool are pretty much, guaranteed. Well, they are guaranteed a top 8.
Yeah.
They're even pretty much guaranteed first, right? I think
I think so, yeah.
Like Barcelona need to, it's a goal difference thing and they will need to do extremely well and Liverpool will to lose extremely badly. So shit, man, Rangers have just scored.
Oh,
It's fine. Anyway,
we're currently recording while Manchester United is playing Rangers, and
it's like the
yeah.
final 10 minutes, and I thought I can just, I can have it in front of me and not watch it, but it's okay. So yeah, my view is for certain teams, it makes sense to do it this week. People with an injured Solanke, people with maybe a Jackson who they cannot see the face of once,
Yeah,
even
yeah.
one more week. So for them, it's an easy entry point. You can go for a Gakpo instead of going to a Wood because you've already suffered and now you want to do something different.
Yeah.
So I get it. For them, you just go to Gakpo this week, chase some upside against Ipswich, go there. Teams like yours that are looking fine, I doubt that we need to do anything else. Oh man,
Yeah.
2-1 Bruno.
Ah, look at that. He's turned up. Bruno, of course, since I sold him after he got that red card, of course, he can't
Dude,
stop
Bruno
scoring,
is
can he?
amazing, man.
Yeah, he is. Yeah, he's a good player, man. He's one of the few turning up for your boys week in, week out. So, okay, if we come back to my team then, so that one, I'm going to put it at, I think at the moment, I'm not going to do a move. Definitely not in that attacking position. Is there anything else? Okay, let's talk, because we're talking game week 23, but also the double in mind.
Every
DCL,
week, I'm going to tell you to sell cells. Every week, I'm going
You've
to
been, to be fair, you've started, and what I've noticed talking to you, this is good for me doing this, and hopefully it's good for you out there, is Pras will say something to me, and at first I'm like, nah, no chance. Then the second week I'm like, it's not too bad. Then the third week I'm doing it. So I'm sitting there thinking, yeah, I should have just done it there and then, really. But
all I'm saying is, with Bournemouth away,
yeah,
like, okay, Wood can score. Bournemouth are not some elite defense. They're a good team, but they're not an elite defense. They can still concede. So Chris Wood will
agreed.
get one chance, his standard one chance, big chance. He could score, he could miss. What I know is Bournemouth are a super attacking team. So Cells has done fabulous, right? I mean, people don't like it when I shit on Cells. But what I'm basically saying is he is great, but maybe there is a time to move on. And when you have the money available, the only move that I would think that you could do this week, and I would still say maybe leave it, is Cells to Alisson.
Yeah. But that move you're saying there, well, I personally struggle with moves like that. You're a bit more, you don't let almost what they've done for you. Well done, you've done well, but bye. Where Sales has been one of the few signings this season that's really come up good for me. It's almost like, but I know what you mean. I know it's done.
You use and throw, man.
You've got to be exactly that. And you're right. I'm still thinking, you know what? He could even, maybe in my mind, I'm thinking he might even deliver against Bournemouth. But after watching that performance last weekend, I did have think, this ain't a good fixture.
Next week, I'll talk about my team, but basically the guys who've been heroes for me in the last 4 weeks since I took a hit for them,
yes,
Gordon and Wood.
Yeah.
Basically, Wood has scored every single week I have him. Gordon has scored every single week apart from last week where he should have scored. There were 2 goals cleared off the line. They are both gone next week. Like, I could keep Wood, but I could keep Gordon.
Ruthless.
But in my mind, when your fixtures turn, it's time to go. Like, you could hurt me. It's fine. But Cunha's fixtures turned. It was time to go. He went.
And it's a good segue, actually. We'll go into your team in a minute. But I've got one more thing I wanted to discuss with you. This my substitute. Do you think Sarr should be forget any transfers then? Just say I'm not doing a transfer at the moment. Should Sarr force his way ahead of Raul Jimenez or Wood or Mbumo, or you think no? It's a tricky one, isn't it?
So originally, when I posted my team on Twitter, I had Sarr starting ahead of Chris Wood. So obviously everybody called me an idiot and said, what the hell are you doing? And they were right. Like, I was just looking at Bournemouth away as a hard fixture, and I was looking at home to Brentford as a great fixture.
Yeah.
But then when you look at market odds, when you look at the fact that Sarr was taken off a little earlier, is he over his injury issues or not? I'm not sure. So I'm going to wait for the press conference coach tomorrow. But in your position, there is a little bit of temptation, Raul Jimenez versus Sarr, but I would think it's still fine. I would think this is fine.
What made me think Raul Jimenez was watching your team, and I couldn't believe it. You've turned up against Liverpool and Arsenal, but for some strange reason, your performances drop instantaneously. That performance against Brighton, I put him straight back into the team. I was like, okay, you've got to play him. You know, I know he's frustrating.
No, I don't blame you.
Yeah, watching it's weird. You don't really know which Manchester United. I mean, it's predominantly been the bad one, unfortunately for you. But you really don't know. And if that Man United, like the Brighton, turn up against Fulham, I can see them scoring at least 2 goals. So,
Yeah, fair enough.
that
I think it's
that was
close.
it's close, isn't it? It's close. I think if Saul didn't have the hamstring potential injuries, that would be because his minutes will be 90 minutes. He was 90 minutes before that.
He was 90 minutes, and
Yeah,
Brentford
exactly.
away are pretty nice, and they're there for
Yes.
the taking.
Yeah, where Raul Jimenez, I know he's a 70-minute. He got them 90 minutes a couple of weeks ago, but that's quite rare. He's a 70-minute player. So, yeah, that's the only realistic dilemma. I think it's a good segue because Captaincy will talk about it when we reach your team. I'm currently not much to talk about, I think. Even me, who's been trying every week to find an alternative, I think this week is going to be a bit easy. So let's segue into your team, actually. If you run us through your team, please.
So I have got the punishment of double Arsenal defense again this week. I've got Munoz home to Brentford, who I'm very excited to have. Ipswich home for Trent, again very excited. Bruno, who can't stop scoring every game in midfield. I've got Salah captain, no doubts about that. Palmer starting, no doubts about that. So I see some people think about benching him. Don't even go there.
Yeah.
Gordon, Southampton, Isak, Southampton, lovely 2 fixtures. João Pedro home to Everton, I like it, so I'll be starting. And the question was Wood versus Sarr, and at the moment I'm on Wood, and I think I will stay there. So the team looks pretty good. Let's say if I had the money, I don't have the money, but let's say I could do João Pedro to Chris Wood. To Gakpo. Like, is it really make sense? Like home to Everton for João Pedro, like João Pedro on penalties. Gakpo has a good fixture. Yes, I agree. But it's not that easy. Let's say if I did Sarr to Diaz, let's say Diaz was a great pick.
Yeah.
Who would I bench?
I know.
So ultimately, it comes down to, for me, it doesn't make sense to make any move this week. It makes
What
sense
about Wood to Gakpo? Why are you not considering that?
Well, firstly, I can't because I have 0.0.
Oh, of course, yeah.
And
but if you had the money,
no.
Would you be tempted? Be honest. Would you be tempted?
No, because next week I want to get money out of that position and go to DCL so that I can upgrade Ismaila Sarr to the guy you have, Mbeumo.
Okay. All right. So you've already lined that up.
Next week, there are 3 transfers I will definitely make. A third Liverpool, 1 Everton, and Mbeumo. These 3 will come in for sure. The configuration will change on who will go for who. I could sell Gordon next week for Mbeumo. I could sell Sarr for Mbeumo. I could do Raya to Allison. I could do Robinson to Mikolenko. I could do Chris Wood to DCL. That's
the second time you've mentioned DCL, the ultimate FPL troll. Now, he scored a stunning goal versus Spurs. It's typical of him. He blanked in about 16 game weeks in a row, and then a double game week pops up and he puts his hand up straight away to remind us he's about. Is he a serious consideration for you?
Not serious.
No. Okay.
I may look at him if I need to afford Mbeumo.
Yeah.
But there is another route to getting Mbeumo. I could just go Doucouré for Sarr and then go do Gordon to Mbeumo. So there are options that I could do. I like having one Everton attacker. Of course, we will see one more game, right? Against who are they playing this week? Our friends Brighton.
Yeah.
So we'll see Everton. It's an away game to Brighton. Mm-hmm. And if Everton shows some life, another life, because anyone is scoring against Spurs, right?
Yeah.
So was it just that it was Spurs that Everton looked good? Or is it that Everton are doing reasonably well? I think it's home to Leicester in itself is worth chasing. And then you get a bonus game against Liverpool. And then in my particular case, João Pedro is quite playable after game week 24, pretty much every week. So if you look at Brighton's fixtures after this, you have Chelsea home playable, Southampton away playable, Bournemouth home playable, Fulham home playable. So I don't need to play DCL again after this week. And then he's in game week 29, he has a good fixture again. So that's the idea. I'm now almost also trying to think about game week 29 blank. I'm trying to think. So it is possible. I'm not trying to BS anyone that, I'm just going for DCL. It's not a headline. It's very difficult to sell Chris Wood in the form that he's in and the ownership that he has. So my efforts will be to keep Wood and not go to DCL. But as I said, I have to get Mbeumo next week. Home to Spurs is going to be a 15-pointer from Mbeumo. Yeah. I'm not missing out on that. No chance.
He's been an excellent asset. It's one thing I'm quite happy that I'm already at one step ahead there. He's been in my team for a little while and it's worked out good. So let me ask you a couple questions on your team. And I know we're discussing game week 23 dilemmas, but we have the 23-24 are so heavily linked. Is would you consider Pickford? You've mentioned DCL from there, but you sound like if you do move away from the goalkeeper, it's only for Alisson. It's not for
Yeah,
Pickford.
so what needs to happen for me to
Yeah.
go to Allison is basically to see that Fabianski is starting again. That's
Okay.
very important. So if Areola starts against Everton, then
Mhm.
Allison is out. Another reason why I don't do it this week. Like, in fact, my advice to you was do sells to Allison. Don't do
Yeah.
it because you have
Yeah.
Fabianski as well. And why am I saying that? If Allison loses, if Fabianski loses his spot, you have no keeper in game week
Yeah.
29 if you
Yeah.
go Allison. In that scenario, if Fabianski loses his spot, then I might prefer Pickford, or I might not make a keeper transfer. I may just go straight Robinson up to Konate or Van Dijk. So lots of options are there.
So this is the assumption you're making. I know we're talking a bit more further ahead, but these weeks are sort of linked depending on your strategy. The blank game week 29, you don't want to tackle it with a free hit. You want to give yourself the option that you might not need to. So that's the
Yeah,
reason
I
you're
want to
saying,
give an
yeah,
option.
exactly that.
I
Yeah.
could still end up free hitting in game week
Yes.
29,
Yeah. Yeah.
but I don't want to be locked in. Like, if you don't have a keeper, every day you're thinking, man, I should free hit, man. I don't have a keeper. Like, I'm not going to make
Yeah.
a keeper transfer. There's so many other things to deal with.
Agree.
So I would just rather have a have the option open. So this is, and the other thing is, again, selling Chris Wood again makes less sense. He's playing Ipswich in game week 29.
I
So
know.
if you sell him, then you're like, man, I went for DCL, and Chris Wood is now every free hit team will have Chris Wood.
Yep.
So these are things to think about. But you know what? Quite simple. I'm not doing anything this week. Maybe something happens next week. Maybe Palmer gets injured, and then all the
Yes.
money is available to do anything you want to do.
Yeah.
And then nobody's talking about DCL, right? People talk about DCL because money's tight, and they have João Pedro, and they can go to DCL. I don't think if there's anything major that happens, then nobody will talk about DCL.
Because a lot of our transfers after this, so in my case, I'm speaking, so 23, 24, I'm thinking of 29 as well to give myself the option. But if the ultimate possibility, we discussed it, I think last week, the game week 29 potential, I would have 7 players. I'm not sure about you because I'd be tripled up on Liverpool, 3 Newcastle, and 1 Palace. But like you said, we'd slowly start doing a couple of moves like you, Gordon, for example, would be 1 less and so on to hopefully reduce,
Exactly.
to give ourselves the option. So I am thinking at the back of my mind, but I'm also trying to remind myself that I want to attack double game week 24. Yes, they might not be the best teams, but you just never know in FPL. Like it's too hard to pass it up, isn't it? When you see the fixtures and that, it's difficult to not have triple Liverpool would be too difficult for me.
Yeah. No, triple Liverpool everyone will have, but you
I
can
think,
also attack it with double defense. It's okay.
yeah, definitely. I've seen a lot of people I'm speaking to, other managers. It's not 100% conclusive. I think the fashionable move this week was rage transferring out Jackson, who's frustrated managers. I know, so that was an easy move for them. He made up their mind, didn't he? Basically, but
Exactly.
for like us who haven't got that scenario, it's not straightforward. So you're right. I think at the moment I'm really tempted, like you, to roll, and it's a bit boring and just get the information. And who knows, an injury or something could happen, which makes our life easier.
Yeah, and luckily we will both have 4 free transfers next week.
Yes.
I could make all 4 next week. Like, that's how much I think it'll be important to get the right structure in place. I mean, you may not need it because you have, basically getting Salah, Palmer, Bumo next week is going to be very important. In my
Yeah.
case, I would like to hold Bruno. I think he has good value, good fixtures, has a game in against Leicester in game week 29.
Yep.
So it would be Sar or Gordon that goes for Boomer. I think having Boomer, Palmer, Salah, Bruno, just so sexy, man. It's just going to be so
It
good.
is. It really.
So,
But then Gordon, you're not worried about moving him on. I know that the fixtures are going to eventually change, and that. Do you think that was a one-off? The Bournemouth performance was just too good, and it's nothing to
yeah, I'm
worry
not doing
about.
it
But
out of knee jerk. It was always
okay,
the plan.
yeah,
Like,
yeah,
away to Man City. Okay, Man City are rubbish, but how many will they score? 2. Then home to Forest. Forest very good.
yeah,
How many will they score? 1 or 2.
yeah,
Then away to Liverpool. How many will they score? 1 or 2.
yeah. It's
Away
not
to
great.
West Ham. Okay, they could score 2, 3. Then blank. So I don't mind letting go of him. Like, he could do well, but other players can also do well, right? Like, it's
Agree.
okay.
Now I was trying to be devil's advocate, but I'm in agreement with you as well, Praz. Yeah, it's that one there. And what about? So I was going to say, excuse my cough, God.
No worries.
Captaincy. We said earlier on we both agreed Salah, easy one.
Yeah,
Is there
I
any
wouldn't go.
consideration for Isaac? No.
I mean, good luck if you want to go there. Go to Rob T's numbers on the. There you go. No, the one
Oh,
before.
this one, the players, yeah.
So Salah has way higher
Yeah.
goal scoring odds. So 0.85 versus 1.
Yep.
Salah gets 1 extra point for a goal. His clean sheet odds are what, 55%, if I remember correctly. So that's basically half a point, expected point, because he gets 1 clean sheet or point. So it's just that you're taking on the house for no reason. Like if Salah was even home to, let's say, a harder team, like even Bournemouth, right?
Yeah.
He would be still higher in market odds compared to Isak, but you can take him on because Isak is playing Southampton.
Agree.
He could score a hat-trick. Well, Salah could also score a hat-trick home to Ipswich. So you're just playing with fire, I feel. There's no need to do it. Like there are other weeks where we were happy to go against him, Captain Palmer, captains, other players. This is not the week.
Yeah, I'm in agreement. As I said, I've tried. Any opportunity, I will take it on, but there comes a fine line between going like being brave or being crazy. And I think Ipswich 3% clean sheet odds, is that the lowest we've seen? I mean, that's ridiculous.
I think Southampton home to or away to Man City were lower.
Was it lower? Yeah,
2% or something.
Wow, that's bad. That is really, really bad. Yeah. So at the moment, okay, and I've got another question I wanted to ask you actually before we wrap up, and it's the double game week. You gave me, we've spoken a lot about Liverpool. It's Everton. I was trying to understand your favorite pricks from Everton because there's not much. It's quite scarce. In one of my videos, I've done something, I know, and I was really
Tarkowski, Mikolenko,
yeah,
Pickford, DCL,
I'd like to push you right now for top three of them. No budget. Don't worry about your team. Your team
structure dependent. Dependent. If you have a place for a keeper, then Pickford. If you have a place at a defender level, then Mikolenko. If you have a place for a midfielder, then Doucouré. And if you were very wildly presupposed, then DCL. I think those are the 4.
Yeah.
I'm Doucouré curious as well. Like if you look at the heat map, he was the furthest forward against Spurs.
Yeah, I had a look at him as well at his price. He's not the highest midfielder scorer though for Everton. It's isn't it? Is it Ghana? I think I can't remember.
No, it's well. Last week, Ghana got 2 assists, but
that's what it is. That's what's edged it. Yeah,
that's past.
Yeah,
you have to predict the future.
Doucouré is a good player. We've always rated him. I think I've owned him in FPL before. He does play. Managers do play him at times.
FPL heritage. You know how Mourinho says FPL heritage.
I have seen him play in advanced position at times. So yeah, totally in agreement with you. But Everton, I don't think there's a possibility. I don't about you. You're not going to be tripled up.
Oh, no chance.
No
one
chance,
is enough.
Yeah.
Two,
one. Oh, 2. I
structure
thought maybe.
Dependent.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, that's fine. I think okay. So we can both 3 transfers. I think I'm just trying to wheel off my head. I think we've covered everything. And what is your opinion on people selling Palmer this week, Pras? Some people are actually not just benching him. Some are selling him.
If you have sold Palmer and you're listening to this video, delete this video.
No,
we don't want you to listen to this.
Don't say that.
I'm joking. I see no reason to sell Palmer, man. He's got home to Southampton and home to Ipswich coming up in like 3 weeks. Home to Leicester and home to Southampton in 27 and 28. He plays in the blank. He is the second best pick in the game.
I agree. But you're not concerned by that performance. You did say he looked a little bit, from the injury, just wasn't 100% right. But you think by this week he should be back?
Yeah, I don't care. He doesn't play midweeks. He'll be fine.
And one more thing before actually we finish off, and that's FOMO for Game Week 23. So this is the just top sort of 10 of the highest predicted goal scorers. Is there any? I mean, look who's third. That's my favorite one.
Yeah, Darwin has always been high up. If he starts, this is all assuming that the player starts.
Yeah.
Right? So I don't have any FOMO on any of these players. Of course, I own Salah and Isak, but below, Darwin fine, Haaland fine, Watkins okay. Son, yeah, he's good this week, but after that, not really. Like, of course, if I was in a free hit, I'd have about 7 of these players. But because I'm not, Raul Jimenez is high up, man. Yeah, that should make your decision.
It should do, yeah. I'm really keen on him. It's only the minutes, but like you said, with Saul now, maybe joining him on the 70th minute, that edged it for me.
No.
Unless I hear something
Raul
else. I think he's a good pick, yeah. I know he's frustrating, but at times, someone at that price point, you can't expect him to score every week.
Yeah.
But cool. I think we've covered everything this week, Pras. I think
Excellent.
we are. Yeah, I think we're good to go. Did Man United lose in the end? I've not checked it.
Bruno scored a winner, 90th minute winner.
That's
as usual. Scores the goal, gets 5 points, takes 3 bonus. That's 8. Takes 2 points. It's a standard Bruno 10-pointer tonight.
That's made your evening a bit more. Yeah,
Exactly.
nice.
And third in the Europa League, you'll never sing that.
Don't, I've got a cough. I can't. On that note, we're gonna leave it. Hopefully, we've answered some of your dilemmas. Please subscribe and like the video. Also, leave any comments. Occasionally me and Pras check through them, have a look at them. So please, yeah, we really appreciate that. On that note, I'm gonna wish you good luck and see you next week.
Take care, everybody. Good luck.
Bye-bye.